Hello and welcome to Time Troopers. Today we're going to be looking at mission 4.3, The Idol. This is one of my favourite missions. There's actually a lot of strategy going on in this game. It's also one of the most challenging to complete, so bear with us whilst we go through it. To start, as always, you're going to read the mission infill. Slight difference on this mission. You will see right at the top of the page, it says, before going any further, take your trooper deck and choose 15 cards to form your unit deck. At least 4 cards must be troopers. Once done, set aside the remaining deck and read on. So in the story, your troopers are forming 2 different units going off to do different things. So you will go through your deck and choose 15 cards. For this example here, I'm just going to take a random 15 cards to show you the setup. So I'll place them down and then read on. As always, next we will go to the bottom right hand corner here to see what dice we need. So we need the gold dice and what deck. So it says J1 to J8. So let's do that. We'll take the timeline dice, which we always need. We will take the gold dice, and we need the Aztec deck J1 to J8. The cards we don't need, we will place back in the box. We will take our time dial and our tokens. That's everything we need from the box, so we'll just set that to one side. Next we'll look at how to lay out the cards. As you can see, there's a lot of cards in play here, and it's not a very big deck of cards. That's because there's no local deck in this level. So let's go ahead and set up the cards. You'll see we have 3 J8s in the combat zone, so let's do that first. So we have J8, 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 and another J8, so they're in the combat zone. Then we have this J5 card off to one side, which is here. Place that to one side. You will see we have J1 to J3 in the local zone, shuffled and placed down. So we'll do that. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Let's place them over here. And we have 3 cards left, and you will see we have J4, J7, and J6. You will see they're in slots 1, 2, and 3 of the zone here. So J4 first, which is here. So we'll place J4 in slot 1. We will place J7 in slot 2. And finally, of course, J6 in slot 3. We have no cards left. Let's go ahead and read a bit more about the mission. So, mission brief. Defeat all locals in the combat zone and find out which is the correct idol. So, success. The combat zone is clear and all the idols are revealed. We fail if 2 troopers are defeated or our time dial reaches 0. Okay. So setup asks us to draw 4 cards, discard 0, and we start with 3 time tokens. So we know how to do that. By now, we will draw 4 cards. We're not discarding any. So this would be our starting hand. We start with 3 time tokens, and we're ready to go. Another point of note in the setup here is it says the maximum time tokens we're ever allowed is 15. So we can never go above 15 even if it asks us to do that. That's something to be aware of. Okay, so what are the special rules of this game? It says straight away, there is no local deck. Timeline cards J4, J7 and J6 stay in place. Even if a local is defeated, place it over the top of an event card in the timeline. It must be over an event card and not over a local. The local will come back into play if rolled in the timeline phase, revealing the event card for the next go. So what does that actually mean? So if we defeat one of these guards, normally you would place a guard in the discard pile, of course. Because there's no local deck, there's no discard either. So on this level, when you defeat a guard, you would place him over one of the events. So let's say we place him over this event. If we defeated this guard, because of the special rules, we couldn't place him over here, we'd have to place him over one of the other 2. If we had this guard discarded, and we rolled a 1 on the timeline dice, this card would come back into play. These cards will always remain here. So that's how it works. Next, time block. At the timeline phase, you may choose to place over 1, 2, or 3. pick a different option each round. So the time block card is a very good, this is your friend. Before you roll the timeline dice, you can place it over one of the options, 1, 2, or 3. So if we decided we didn't want that one, we would place it over there. Then if we rolled a 2, nothing would happen. So you're gambling a little bit over where you place it, but don't forget, if you had enough time, you could re-roll to make sure that nothing happened. Again, another form of strategy, you can use this card well. At the end of every round, you have to move it to an alternative, so you can't keep it on one set of cards. The idols themselves. So it says shuffle and deal face down. We've done that. Place 10 stealth tokens to reveal you must be in the combat zone. So if we had a character in play, let's say such as Shadow here, we can choose to attack the guards, or we can choose to stealth one of these idols. We'll place, so if Shadow did a stealth for 5, we would of course roll the dice. Let's say we got a +1. We could then put 6 tokens on one of these cards. When you get 10, you would flip the card over to show it's revealed. Don't forget the success parameters are you have to reveal all of these cards and defeat these guards. So it's up to you in what order you want to do that. That's largely going to be dictated by these 3 cards here. We're going to go into those in a bit more detail now. So, the card in slot 1 is the Aztec God of War. So this will remove all damage from all locals. So if you're focusing on defeating the guards, you probably want to cover this up with a time block card. The card in slot 2, Idle Hands, removes a card from your hand, deck, or discard pile for the rest of the mission. Obviously, the more times this is rolled, the harder it's going to be for you to complete your objective because you're constantly going to be giving cards back. Worship in slot 3. This removes all stealth tokens currently on idle cards. So if your strategy is to reveal the idle cards as quickly as possible, maybe you want to keep placing the time block over slot 3 as often as you can. That's kind of it. It's a unique format, one of my favourite missions. I'm sure you'll do well. Good luck! Okay, so here's a sneaky little Easter egg for those of you that have stayed on. These 3 idle cards here, maybe you want to experiment with moving these around in different orders and seeing what these symbols mean. Maybe there's somewhere you could get some help. Maybe you might just unlock something.